Hello, my YouTube channel subscribers to Big Bill Anderson's Death Tours. I am here on April 7th, 2019 in Wilcox, Arizona at the Sunset Cemetery. I am here to pay my respects to the grave, or the crypt, I should say, of Iron Mike Dibiase, one of the great professional wrestlers of the 50s and 60s. And also his wife, Helen Gladys Wills, who wrestled as Helen Hild, had many epic battles with Mildred Burke and the Fabulous Moolah back in the day. And this is the mother of the $1 Million Man, Ted Dibiase. This is the man, Iron Mike Dibiase, that adopted Ted upon the marriage in 1958 for Helen and Mike to marry. And he adopted Ted Dibiase, which was Helen's son, by this gentleman, Ted Wills, which is actually Ted DiBiase's paternal father. So, 3 graves right here, 3 crypts, or 2 crypts I should say, and I wanted to come here to pay my respects to Helen Gladys Wills, aka Helen Hild, and Mike Dibiase, a great wrestler who died in the ring at the age of 48 in a match with Man Mountain Mike. He had a heart attack. I'll tell you all about his story as well as Helen's story. She was an absolute gorgeous woman. She was a wrestler and a model. And she never got over the fact that Mike Dibiase passed away so young. So I'll tell you about this story in my dialogue, but I wanted to just come by here, and I'm going to make an announcement here that I'm quite embarrassed to say. This is my 3rd time being right here at Mike Dibiase's grave without realizing that right here was Helen, his wife, Ted's mother, and a professional wrestler. And I drove a long way today to correct this mistake. I deleted my previous video when I was out here a few weeks ago and did on Mike Dibiase. I didn't even upload it because I wanted to make this as factual as possible and accurate. And I felt I owed it to not only Ted Dibiase, in case he ever was to see this. Ted's a friend of mine, did a lot of Christian shows with Ted, been in the ring with him several times, known him for 30 years. Great wrestler in his own right. And but I wanted to come out here to his stepfather, Mike Dibiase, and his mom, Helen Gladys Wills' grave, pay my respects on this day of April 7th, 2019. And I hope you enjoy this video, my friends. Please like, subscribe, and thank you.
Michael Dibiase was born in New York City on December 24th, 1923. As an amateur wrestler, Dibiase, representing the U.S. Navy, was the 1946 AAU champion in the open or heavyweight division. He then wrestled at the University of Nebraska, where he captured the AAU National and Big 7 wrestling titles. Dibiase made his professional wrestling debut in Lincoln, Nebraska in early April of 1950. Dibiase won the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title in 1956. Also in 56, he won the Central States title. He married Helen Hild in 1958. In a match that received national attention, Dibiase battled boxer Archie Bohr on Saturday, March 16th, 1963, in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Madison Square Garden Arena. The referee stopped the match in the third round, giving the bout to Moore. Dibiase became the 131st and last knockout victim for Archie Moore. Tragedy struck on July 2nd, 1969 in Lubbock, Texas, when Iron Mike Dibiase was in a match with Man Mountain Mike. Harley Race, who was booking the West Texas circuit for Dory Funk Sr. at the time, said Dibiase had complained earlier that evening about being tired because he had spent most of the day moving. I told him that we could work something out if he didn't feel like going out, said Race. Mike said that he was fine and went out anyway. Race, who was watching from the back, said the match was about 10 minutes old when Dibiase grabbed his chest and fell into the ropes, hitting his head on the second rope and falling outside to the arena floor. The way he went out, I knew something was wrong. He died in my arms, said Race. I tried to resuscitate him and give him mouth-to-mouth and by pumping his heart also. We had a pulse going on him when he left, but he apparently died en route to the hospital. I rode in the ambulance. Dibiase was pronounced dead at the hospital. He was only 45 years old. Some of Iron Mike Dibiase's championships included the AWA Midwest Heavyweight Champion, AWA Midwest Tag Team Champion, AWA Midwest Heavyweight Champion, the NWA Central States Heavyweight Champion, NWA Brass Knuckles Champion, NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion, NWA Tag Team Champion, NWA Rocky Mountain Heavyweight Championship, the NWA Rocky Mountain Tag Team Championship, NWA Pacific Northwest Heavyweight Champion, NWA Texas Tag Team Champion, NWA International Tag Team Champion, NWA North American Heavyweight Champion, WWA World Heavyweight Champion, and WWA World Tag Team Champion. These were some, but a few, of his titles that Mike won during his brief 19-year career. On July 15th, 2006, Iron Mike Dibiase was inducted into the International Wrestling Museum Hall of Fame by his son, Ted Dibiase.
Right next to Mike here is the gravesite of his wife. Helen Hild was her wrestling name. Her given name was Gladys Helen Nevins. She was born in Omaha, Nebraska on February 26, 1926. Helen was better known by her ring name of Helen Hild. She was a professional wrestler and a model. In her career, Nevins wrestled for extended periods of time for various wrestling promotions: All-Star Wrestling, Big Time Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Central States Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Minneapolis Boxing and Wrestling Club, NWA Mid-America, and Worldwide Wrestling Federation are some of her areas that where she wrestled. Hild wrestled throughout the 40s, 50s, and 60s. She was a top star wrestling in the United States. During the 40s and 50s, she challenged Mildred Burke for the NWA World Women's Championship several times between 1948 and 1951. Hild was often a rival to the Fabulous Moolah. Their encounter in Seattle, Washington on August 9th, 1957 was the first women's wrestling match to be held in that city in 12 years. Nevins gave birth to a son named Theodore Marvin, later known as wrestler Ted Dibiase, in 1954, with a man named Ted Wills, an entertainer and singer. She later married fellow wrestler Iron Mike Dibiase, who adopted Ted. After Mike's death during his 1969 wrestling match, Helen became extremely depressed and began to abuse alcohol. On March 4th, 1984, Helen Hild passed away in Atlanta, Georgia, at the young age of 57. She had never gotten over the death of Mike Dibiase in 1969. Helen Hild has three grandsons who are professional wrestlers: Ted DiBiase Jr., Michael DiBiase, and Brett DiBiase, Ted's sons. So I wanted to come by here to Sunset Cemetery here in Wilcox, Arizona, and pay my respects to these two men and women that were role models for me when I was going to be breaking into wrestling in 1973 and 74. I had heard the name Mike DiBiase many times, and I can tell you it is with great honor that I stand here in front of his grave and pay my respects and say a prayer, and hopefully he is laying peacefully at rest. His beautiful wife, Helen, is next to him. This lady was extremely gorgeous. I'll post several pictures of her. She was a top talent, as was Mike. And I can really see now, after researching these two ladies and gentlemen, where Ted got so much of his skill and athletic performance. It's in the genes. And Ted is a chip off the old block, as they say. So I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. Thank you very much for coming with me on this journey to the final resting place for Iron Mike DiBiase and Helen Hild. And please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share the video if you feel like it. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you again, and have a blessed day. Thank you.